Bishop Robert Barron has a beautiful, beautiful reflection on this gospel where our Blessed Mother visits Elizabeth. And I heard it this week, and it so touched my heart that I'd like to share at least a small part of it with you. Our gospel says that Mary went in haste to visit her cousin Elizabeth. Why in haste? Elizabeth is not going to have John the Baptist for 3 more months. And Mary is not going to have baby Jesus for 9 more months. Why the rush? Because our Blessed Mother has found, Bishop Barron says, her role in the theodrama. You knew right away that wasn't for me, right? When's the last time I told you about theodrama, right? But it's a beautiful thought once we catch it. The theodrama is the great story being told by God from the beginning of the world until the end of the world. The story's been going on forever since the beginning, and each one of us, every single one of us, has a part, is meant to have a part. We can opt out with our free will, but each one of us is meant to have a part in the theodrama that God is writing. The opposite of that is the ego drama. I suppose none of us are stranger to that. The ego drama is the self-centered story that I attempt to write and produce and direct, and of course, most importantly, star in all by myself. In our culture today, the ego drama is supreme, which means that my personal freedom is supreme. There can be no appeal to an objective truth. You can't say to me, well, there's a truth bigger than you. No, I get to decide that. Or a moral goodness. You can't appeal to a moral goodness outside myself. Well, that wouldn't be pure. Or that would be selfish. Or that wouldn't be holy. No, I don't want to hear that. I get to decide what's pure and unselfish and holy. So that would be regarded as you trying to impose your will on me. A power play on your part. So words like surrender to God's will for you, or obey, there's a dirty word, huh? Obey God's will. Those are not part of the ego drama, because I'm directing this play. I'm in charge. And so, of course, tolerance is a huge virtue of our day. I do my thing, you do your thing, and let's just not interfere with each other. I am not opposed to tolerance. I'm not in favor of intolerance. But clearly, life can be so much more than just tolerating each other. Really? Is that the best we can do? Just to tolerate each other? Life can include love and commitment and joy and enthusiasm and a purpose bigger than just me. Tolerance is not the only or not even the ultimate virtue. So the question becomes, is there a purpose beyond my own ego drama, beyond this story that I get to write? Is there a purpose outside of me, myself, and I? The answer that our faith gives to that is, yes, of course. There's a purpose in the theodrama, the great story that's being directed by God, in which He has a role for every person to play. You and I have a role that God desires that we would play in His theodrama, in the story He's writing. A role for each one of us. Discovering our role in the theodrama makes life thrilling, alive, full of energy and wonder and almost disbelief that God has a role that He wants each one of us to play in His theodrama. It's almost too good to be true. Lord, you want me to play a role in this magnificent story you're writing? Yes. The answer is yes. Just as truly as our Blessed Mother in Elizabeth, God has a role that each of us is meant to play in the drama, the story that He's writing. I talked to a wonderful young man this week in our parish. His life was going one direction, Then 2 years ago, he went on a retreat, and he said, my life, I knew, would not be the same after that. And wonderfully, he's cooperated with God's graces since then, and he believes that God is calling him to be a priest. I spoke recently with one of the married men in our parish. There were questions that he had before, but now he knows that God is calling him to be a deacon, and he's full of peace about God's call. My own story, I was kind of a slow one to get it. I was a late bloomer. I was 10 years a priest. When it finally hit me, Lord, you chose me. You want me to be your priest. And my life has not been the same since. And this isn't just about religious vocations. When all of us get it, that God has a role to play in this wonderful story he's writing, it's thrilling. It's humbling. It's like, really, Lord, you want me? And the answer always comes back, yes, I do. God has a plan for us, for each of us, in his theodrama that is particular and unique and irreplaceable to each one of us. Only we can play it. When we get it, that we have been chosen by God, we really begin to live with direction and energy and enthusiasm and purpose. And strange to tell, we give up our ego drama because we found something way more exciting than ourselves. We found God's plan for our life. Cardinal Newman had a wonderful image. He said it's like a river with firm banks on it. And far from cramping our style, those banks help the river of our life, our part in God's plan for us, to flow with energy and freedom and the joy of life. Those banks, if you will, are God's will for us. And far from cramping our style, they give our life a direction and a force and a power. What happens if you take the banks of the river down? You just get this big old lake wandering all over where nothing's happening. But when you leave the banks and surrender to it, that river flows with direction and force and meaning. That's what happens when we surrender our lives to God's plan for us. In a sense, there's nothing really that can derail us if we so choose. Paul says, what can separate us from the love of God? Neither life nor death, things passing or to come. Nothing can separate us from the love of God in Jesus Christ. Another point, Aristotle talks about the transcendent third. I love this. It refers to when two people fall in love with a great good beyond themselves. That third becomes what truly connects them. So, the ego drama, when it's all about me, is not going to be enough to sustain a strong relationship in marriage, a strong friendship. It's all about me. It's not enough to sustain it. But a common surrender to the theodrama, to our loving God and his plan for our life, to something, in other words, way bigger than me, is a rock-solid foundation for every good marriage, for every good friendship, because we've surrendered to something bigger than ourselves. Notice, it was the theodrama that drew Mary and Elizabeth together. They both have fallen in love with God and with his purposes for their life. Both know their roles. Mary's going to be the mother of the Messiah. Elizabeth's going to be the mother of John the Baptist, his forerunner. Both are filled with joy and direction. Together, they are part of a great drama, of God's theodrama. And you know what? Just as truly, you and I are as well.